In the land of Talaris, in the village of Hoster, a group of adventurers gather in the home of Lady Sherelle Haverston. Having completed their original task of finding information on the strange portals that have been appearing throughout the continent, the party brought back two strange men who have been closing these portals. The two brothers revealed that they are from the elemental plane of water, and have been tasked with closing rifts into that plane, and returning any creatures that pass through the portals. After hearing the explanation of these strange brothers, and the testimonies of the group, Lady Haverston has made the group an offer. She will take them on as their patron, giving them a stipend, resources, and a place to stay within the city. In exchange, they will investigate this matter further, discover the cause of the portals, and attempt to stop who or whatever is opening them. Once this task is complete, their past will be expunged, and they will be free to strike out on their own as they see fit. The adventure continues as the party considers this offer.
Hello, it's me and the rest of us as well.
We're back. Woo!
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Howdy, doody, doo, woo, woo.
That's a lot of hellos.
That's halfling for hello.
Everyone just stare at the chat.
Yeah, just that's the appropriate thing to do when playing on Twitch. Just stare at the chat.
Sounds like it's working.
Twitch chat can play D&D for us. That's the appropriate thing to do. Yeah, unless otherwise stated.
That's me.
It's not me.
Oh.
Do you have your mic going through by itself to OBS? The solution last week.
Didn't you know it changes week to week?
All right.
I feel like I need to clear off my desk. I have way too many distracting things for me to play with. I have
What was that?
it's a laser pistol.
Oh,
why do you have that?
Look, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Oh goodness.
I also have a hammer.
Just randomly on your desk?
Yeah. I don't know why I have these things here. They just exist around my desk.
I don't have anything. I feel inadequate now.
Yeah, you're definitely not coming through on the stream.
Ostrich feather?
Legend of Zelda Switch case. Paint pots.
Tiny metal.
All right. You should be able to
Headphones.
hear me now.
Oh yes, I can hear you clearly now. Thank you.
Nail
I've been able to hear you this
polishers.
entire time.
I mean, I can hear you.
I have
Box cutter.
ice cream cat.
Okay, we're good now. All right.
Picture of my
Let's go
nibblings.
back to this. Okay. All right, so I do have to have 2 separate channels for some reason this week. Last week I didn't, but whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. All right, welcome everyone to Forever DM No More, where we're all still learning how to use Discord and Twitch
And OBS.
at the same time, and OBS at the same time. So I'm the Friendly Dungeon Master, and as I was just quick. Last week was session 0. This week is session number 1. Last week was just to get the party acquainted with one another and establish the setting for the viewers. Session 0 is available for viewing on the Friendly Dungeon Master YouTube channel if you are so inclined to go ahead and take a look at that. Real quick, before we get into the game, we will do some fast introductions for anyone tuning in for the first time. If you are, welcome. We will start with Pacifica. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Okay, well, I'm actually Hannah, but my character is Pacifica, and she's a super cutie patootie with a hella rad booty. She's a druid, and she has an awesome dog named Bjorn, and everyone loves Bjorn. Like, enough about Pacifica, let's talk about Bjorn.
Bjorn is the runaway star of last week.
That is definitely true.
Thick, he's strong, and we love him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to move on to Gormer.
Hello, I'm DeForest, decoded _ Dungeon Master. I play Gormer, our Furbolg monk who just wants to be friends with everyone, including the flowers. I'm also the unofficial personal transport of our halfling.
That is also true. Speaking of which,
Yes.
let's move on to Ozzy.
Hi, I'm Christopher. I play Lord Osborne Oswald, the wild magic sorcerer halfling. I'm an amateur coder and teacher. So if you want to buy me a cup of coffee on PayPal for making awesome dice rollers or character generators, buy me a cup of coffee. But yeah, we're going to see what kind of trouble I get into or if I get everyone killed with wild magic. It'll be great.
Looking forward to it.
Let's not.
All right. Barakiel. Am I saying that
Yeah.
right?
Sure, why not? I can't read, so what do I know? So my name is Ed. I am playing Barakiel, however you want to pronounce it. He is a level 3 Oath of the Crown paladin. He's lawful neutral. He's very Judge Dredd. You know, this is the law and you must obey it. He's sort of taken on the role of Ozzy's jailer, I suppose. Trying to keep him in line.
He's
Yeah.
very Javert from Les
so he
Mis.
doesn't cause too much trouble. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully Ozzy will learn to abide by the law.
Probably not.
Probably
I'm
not.
gonna call you Barry.
And last but certainly not least, we have Stitch.
All right, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Stitch, the Tabaxi swashbuckler rogue. Stitch is kind of a world-weary cat-type person. He's pretty beat up, but he's good pals with our Furlbarg friend, Gormer. And we kind of chumming around and hang out.
All right. So, we finished introductions, and we will have our 6th cast member, Quentin, with us next week, all things going well, but we will not have Hannah/Pacifica with us next week. She's going on vacation and leaving us.
Shout out to
She thinks she's got better
RLJ
things to do.
Bubbles because she's one of the
That's
people
true.
I'm going on vacation with.
That's true.
So
That is
it's gonna
true.
be fun.
But, like I said, Quentin will be here for the first time, so you'll want to tune in to see his introduction to the party. And does anyone have any announcements they would like to get through real quick before we dive in?
Don't
Nope.
die.
That's
I mean,
That's
very
I'm not the
inspiring.
boss. You're a free country. Do what you like.
yeah. I will say I find it rather funny that our paladin can't read and write, but the furbolg can.
Is
Oh no, the
that
paladin
canon?
can read and write. The person playing him can't.
Oh, okay.
Very different. Very different.
Yes.
All right. So if that's everything, then we will get to it. When last we saw our adventurers, they had just defeated a water creature known as a plesiosaurus, and had encountered 2 brothers who claimed to be from the elemental plane of water. These interplanar plumbers, Raimo and Guili, explained to the party that the portals they had been tasked with investigating are being opened into the elemental plane of water by someone or something. The brothers have been unsuccessful finding the cause of the rifts, focusing instead on containing the damage they cause and returning any wayward creatures that make it through to the material plane back to the plane of water. Unfortunately, they did not manage to get both plesiosaurs back into the portal because the party killed one. But they managed to get the other one in, and all was well. So the 2 brothers had agreed to accompany the party back to Lady Sherelle Haverston's office to explain the situation. While they were doing that, Barakil had sent word back to 4th Keeper Perrin Yaitara of the party's findings, and she had instructed him to continue their investigation and to find the cause of the portals. Meanwhile, Lady Haverston had made an offer to the rest of the party. She will become their patron, giving them a stipend, a place to stay in Hoster, and resources as best she can. And in exchange, the party will seek out the source of the portals and stop them from happening again. We resume our adventure as Lord Osborne, hearing that the job is not quite done yet, dramatically fell to the floor with a sigh.
Why?
What a drama queen.
He must be tired from all the walking.
I
He didn't walk.
Didn't you carry him?
To the door, yes.
I am exhausted though from all this energy I used up with my arcana. So yes. And fine, if you want to consider me your queen, so
I said drama queen.
drama queen, king, I don't care.
Not a king.
Just
Not chivalrous enough.
I assume
I
we're
roll
still
my
in
eyes.
Lady Haverston's office? Or
Yes, yes. You are actually standing directly in front of Lady Haverston. She is just kind of looking over at Ozzy with an amused expression.
Yeah, I think Baragor just would step over him as he was entering the room at this point anyway. Just ignore the halfling on the floor, step over the top of him and say, as our investigations are to go under the way, have you any leads for us? Any places that have been experiencing strange occurrences locally?
She will go back to her desk, and once again, this desk is completely covered in stacks of paper and books, and scrolls are just everywhere. This room is just mildly organized chaos. And she will go to her desk and start rifling through some papers and pull one out, and nope, keep going.
I think watching this, Barakil is like, you can see like brows furrowing. Like, this chaos is not good. Like, you can tell that he just wants to get over there and start organizing her files for her. but he's restraining himself because that wouldn't be proper social etiquette.
Obviously, having no idea what he's looking for, Gormer is going to go over and start doing the same thing. Just like start looking through papers, pulling one out, and showing it to her, and seeing.
I think Barrick will possibly pull you back and say, "It's bad enough one of you messing all this room up."
Pacifica kind of follows Gormer and like grabs his forearm and like gives it a little yank. She's like, "I didn't agree to anything yet."
That is true. Really, none of you have, except for apparently Barakeel.
Gormer said he's happy to help. He's always happy to help.
Yeah. Lady Haverson will finally pull out a sheaf of paper and begin coming back to you guys, and she will kind of skim through it, and then she'll look to the brothers and ask them if they have any information, and they will both kind of look at one another and back to you guys and be like, well, as we told them, we do not have any leads on where the source of these portals is coming from. However, we must be taking our leave. We must return to the plane of water to replenish our supplies, and if another portal is opened, we will rush to close it. We thank you for your aid, friends.
How do you know when the portal's open?
And they kind of look to each other again. We just feel it.
Oh,
I'm sure that doesn't make any sense, but it's an innate ability.
No, it does.
Oh, well, good. Lovely to meet you all. And they kind of wave their goodbyes, and they just begin walking out of the door. Lady Haverson kind of looking after them, a bit confused and bewildered, but kind of shrugs it off and goes back to the sheet of paper that she has. And she first hands a separate sheet of paper to Barakeel, and explains that this is a letter of validation to give to whomever greets you at any destination when you use the teleportation circles. This will ensure that you are granted safe passage through the teleportation circles, and that you are allowed to continue to use them, because these particular circles are not connected to the main teleportation hubs within the major cities. They are separate for nobility and people of renown, and so it is quite a high honor to be given these, especially as you are relatively untested and untried, but she and the Flamekeepers need this situation taken care of quickly.
Okay. Barrick will take that and tuck it away into a pocket.
So you have essentially a letter of safe passage. Sorry, Gormer.
No, so I don't know why I'm yawning. Hence the confusion.
They were confused about Barakeel being considered the de facto leader.
Oh no, absolutely not at all.
The only person with any responsibility.
Then she will look at the second sheet of paper that she has, the one that she was rifling through looking for, and she will say, the city of Woodbend hasn't had any incursions into it. I'm not sure why it's been untouched, but you could go there. You could speak to the local wizard there, Elena Haste. She's a former keeper of the flame, and she might be able to point you towards a little more concrete information. She's a scholarly sort.
So I think Barrigold nods and thanks her for this information. If she could write down any names for him. Oh,
there's more.
Oh, more.
Sunport City on the southern edge of the continent was where the first portal appeared, and perhaps the people there saw something. It's a large city, and the portal appeared right in the middle of it. So, if there's any information to be found, it might be there. So you have Woodbend and Sunport City as possible sources of information, according to Lady Haverson. Woodbend is the only one where you have a contact established through Elena Haste, but Sunport is also viable.
Does this lady is she a wizard of any description, or what? Like, is she just a bureaucrat?
Oh no, she's a very powerful wizard.
No, you.
Me?
I was asking the DM.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah,
no,
this lady here.
No, Lady Haverston is she's a simple bureaucrat for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only other person who deals with arcane magic that Barakil knows at least is Ozzy. So he would ask Ozzy if he knows of any ways in which these kind of portals could be opened. Maybe that could help us, find out what's going on.
Okay.
know.
Then I will ask Ozzy to make an Arcana check, please.
Okay. That's going to be a 10.
So not that good at Arcana then.
No.
You have some knowledge of portals between the planes, but the exact rituals for opening one or closing one even are not really something that you've delved into really, since your magic is mostly, completely innate and just something that comes from within. You haven't really felt the need to study a lot regarding other types of magic.
So what I say, as I'm laying prostrate on the floor, and I have my arcane card deck on my face, I let it slowly, creep off to reveal my face, and it's just a sullen look, and I say, well, it's either powerful magic by wizards that are opening portals, or, as far as I would know, maybe wild magic is just pouring through different planes. But I really don't want to do this.
I understand, Ozzy. We will find someone more competent than you and talk to them.
Ooh.
Shade.
More confident. Well,
I think you
I
said
feel called
competent.
Yes, competent.
I'm called out again. And the cards go back over my face.
So you watch this deck of cards just...
I think possibly Barakil would suggest at least that we ask for a leave and possibly go off somewhere to discuss our future plans.
Okay.
Instead of just standing around, getting in the way of this incredibly busy woman.
Well, I haven't agreed to anything yet.
That's true. And as you ask to be dismissed, she kind of stops you, and you do see a couple of guards still stationed at the door, just kind of step into the way. For the moment, you all are still considered criminals, and you are within my charge. However, yes?
I'm not a criminal. I'm a volunteer.
Sure, dear. We'll go with that.
I take one of my cards, and I'm probably not doing this stealthily, but I have it form into a little version of Gormer, and I'm mocking to say, I'm not a criminal, I'm a volunteer. Says everyone on a punishment quest.
Specifically gives him a little shove.
He just kind of rolls from side to side because he's still on the ground.
Yep.
So while this conversation's going on, I'm going to discreetly paw my way through these volumes that she's got stacked everywhere to see if there's anything of worth, but I'm still going to keep an ear on the conversation as it goes on.
Make a sleight of hand check, please.
Oh boy. That is a 21.
21. Very nice. You kind of rummaging through and kind of furtively glancing over just to see what you've uncovered. You do uncover a couple of scrolls that are covered in some weird writing that in your travels you've kind of seen these types of things before, and they do look to be arcane in nature, magical scrolls of some sort.
And I discreetly place them in my tunic.
That you do. No one seems to be any wiser to Stitch's actions. So as this is all happening, Lady Haverston is once again restating that were you to agree to do this mission for her, that once it is complete, your past criminal history or volunteer status would be expunged, and essentially the slate would be considered wiped clean. However, she does kind of, as an aside to Barakeel, she says it openly, but she's kind of looking sideways at Barakeel and says that you still would not be able to rejoin any military faction within Talaris at the end of this.
That is fine. I serve a higher power.
She kind of nods, recognizing the devotee status of Barakeel. And she kind of looks in turn to the rest of you.
I'm in.
Aye?
I'm just a little confused.
Gormer, you're in.
I'm in?
You're
I
in.
suppose I'm in.
Very well.
I sit up and I brush off my legs and I stand up with various cards cleaning off my body as a prestidigitation spell. I say, well, if it gets me out of this predicament any faster and away from Scary Face, then I'm game.
Aye. And you,
So,
dear.
Pacifica, who you can see that her hands are shaking as they're like curled into the fur of her dog, and she's like, I don't want to seem ungrateful, but I have one more thing I would want.
And what would that be?
I would want a guaranteed delivery of a letter to my mother.
Aye. I think that can be arranged.
Do you know who my mother is?
No, I assumed you were going to tell me.
I'd rather not say it out loud, so I'll just put
That's
it on
fine.
the letter.
That's fine. Write up your
And you
letter.
could make sure it would get there,
Yes.
for sure,
Aye.
even though it's in the Shade Tree Forest?
Shade speak.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay.
We have a
Fine, I'll
very
do it.
reliable post service.
Okay.
Okay.
Can it get to anyone we need it to?
Within reason. Who do you need a letter sent to?
I would, yes.
Aye. So, are you guys writing these letters now? Okay. So, Gormer and Pacifica kind of go off to separate corners and are given a quill and ink and paper to pen their letters to where they need to go. So the three of you are left just kind of, well, Ozzy sitting up, and Barakeel and Stitch just kind of standing there awkwardly, and Lady Haverston, after a moment, is just like, well, Brinko will show you where to go, and turns around and goes back to her desk.
Well, I'm assuming, Jailer, that we can take a rest for the night at the local inn, because I am useless this exhausted.
This exhausted, yes. That's what makes you useless. We can go to the inn. We need to discuss plans for what we are to do. We have some options, and I feel if we pool our knowledge, we might be able to think of ways in which this could be happening. Has anyone seen anything like it before?
Are you asking the party?
Yes. Yeah.
Can
I
I
don't
look
have-
up from the letter?
Have we?
I don't have a lot of experience with portals.
No, none of you have seen anything quite like this. Let's see. Well, is Pacifica within earshot? Like, are you listening to this conversation, or are you still just like writing?
She's very engrossed in her
Okay.
letter, trying to keep her crying under wraps.
Okay.
I was intending to sort of wait until everyone was finished and ready to leave.
All right, so we'll fast forward to that. So Gormer, Pacifica, you both have finished your letters, folded them up, and have been offered Lady Haverston's seal to seal them.
Pacifica does it.
Okay. And as you press the seal into the wax seal kind of onto the folds of the paper, you see a very faint blue arcane flash, and a thin line of wax appears around the entire edge of the crease and seals up all sides of the paper.
Oh,
Well, that's fancy.
High Magic Society.
And you're sure it's gonna get to my mother, right?
From the corner, she's like, "Aye, it'll get there."
Okay. And she hands the letter off.
Okay.
Before we leave, do you have a map of the local area? As we are not exactly well versed in these lands.
I planned for so much, but not for you asking for a map. She does have one.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, I personally don't need a map, but
yes.
the character
Yes,
might.
yes,
Something
I
to write on an inventory.
Yes.
Busy man.
+1 to survival checks, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. She hands you guys a map, and it's pretty intricate, actually. It's very well done. Seems decently to scale, and yeah. So you now have a map. It covers Hoster and the surrounding area, and it does go as far south as Sunport City, but it does not go. So it'd be west, west past the edge of the forest that is on the other side of one of the rivers that cuts through Talaris.
Yeah, he thanks her and then quickly leaves.
Okay.
And navigates himself to some sort of tavern. Is there one in the town?
There is. And Brinko kind of meets you all at the door, and the best tavern in town, really the only one of any note, is the Sleepy Willow Inn. It's an inn and a tavern, as most are in smaller places, you would know. The proprietor is a bit exuberant for my tastes, but she's nice enough. Her name is Amelia. You'll see her when you get there. And it's down the road here, and he gives you directions to it. It's pretty simple. Hoster is not a large place, and the Sleepy Willow Inn is one of the larger buildings within the village.
What's the weather like outside right now?
It's about midday-ish, pushing like 5 p.m. So the sun is still out, not very cloudy. It's temperate. It's probably like mid-70s Fahrenheit.
Yeah, not Celsius. We would all be on fire.
Well, everyone would be dying. But no.
Like I currently
make
am.
a Constitution saving throw. Yes, yes. The weather currently is indicative of how hot it would be in Celsius. But it's in Fahrenheit, because that's what I know. And that's what my fantasy world uses. So it's temperate. It's a temperate temperature. That's redundant.
Okay. I take my deck of cards, and to keep my nice skin the way it is, it melds into like a very long-brimmed hat above me, and I look at Barakiel, and then I just start trudging off to that inn of the Sleepy Willow.
Okay.
Yeah, I will also. I would probably quite quickly outpace Ozzy. Like he probably starts to walk off. Like I let him get.
I'm
like,
making
10
it a
paces
point.
ahead.
I will do an acrobatics check or athletics to make a point that I can keep up with my small legs.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, we're gonna roll off athletics. I will happily do that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Are
We'll
you contesting?
I mean,
this
I'm not
correctly?
Around in the back.
I'll contest it, but I don't.
Alright.
I don't feel he would. I don't feel he would be racing. It's just like his natural gait is like
Yes.
twice that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if your natural gait would be like a 10 roll, I failed with a 9.
So
Actually,
I rolled a 19,
Oh,
and then
God
I
damn
have
it.
+6 to athletics. So
So Ozzy does, like, at first, just very purposefully striding down the hard-packed earth streets of Hoster, leading from this manor house. And as you're going along, just kind of angrily muttering to yourself, you feel and see just a shadow pass over your form as the much larger form of Barakiel passes you by, looking like he's not exerting any effort whatsoever. Just casually sauntering, as casually as Barakiel does anything.
yeah, there was sort of a reason I wanted to get to the tavern first.
Okay.
Before the other people got there, I wanted to secure us room and board for the evening, and possibly have a table waiting for the other members with some drinks on them, so that we could start discussing plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bjorn is upset that he didn't get to participate in the race. He whines, but he stays dutifully by Pacifica's side.
So Gorma will
Keep
have
you
actually
with the
hung
race.
around behind at the manor,
Okay.
and with the letter still clutched in his hands,
Yes.
he will walk over to Lady Haverston,
Mhm.
and he will set it down very gingerly. I don't know how you're going to get it to her, but if you find her and get this letter to her, please let her know that I'm looking for her. And he'll pull a flower out of his hair and he'll set it on the letter.
Okay.
And take Lady Haverston's hand and shake it again.
She returns.
Thank you.
You're most
And then
welcome.
he'll utilize that 40-foot base land speed to catch up with everyone.
Yeah. So Gormer catches up with the rest of the party. Nobody really seems to notice that you were delayed.
Yep.
Barakiel is way ahead of you guys at this point with that 26 or 25.
25.
25.
Yeah, he'll catch up with the people in the back and
yeah.
stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pacifica has to lift her shirt, lift her skirt to even walk fast enough to keep up with anybody. It's fine.
So Barakiel, you do make it to the Sleepy Willow Inn first, and as you walk in, there is just a general atmosphere because it's past closing time for most workday activities, and it's, for a small town, it's a relatively busy place. It seems to be the favored watering hole of the majority of the citizens here, and you can see some servers kind of bustling about in dirtied aprons and just simple clothing, and you see a lot of people gathered around tables, but there is a table kind of in the far corner that looks to be unoccupied currently, and at the bar you see a halfling woman, and she looks relatively young, and she has this bright orange hair that just kind of explodes out of her skull and is very ineffectively, that's the word, tried to pull back into a ponytail, but it's still just kind of everywhere. And she's also wearing a white apron, but hers is very clean, and the apron is over simple garb. It's like brown shirt and trousers, and as you walk in, she kind of waves from the bar, and because you are very noticeable, and she hasn't seen you before, so
Yeah.
she kind of waves and gestures you over to the bar.
Barakiel sort of strides over, possibly unholstering his armaments and propping them down so that he can sit.
Okay. Still wearing the mask?
Pardon?
Still wearing the mask?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't come off otherwise, light explosion, very unpleasant for everyone involved. I don't want to accidentally murder a keeper.
Probably best. Probably best.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah, and he sits down at the bar and he says, "Good evening. I am a member of a group of people who are doing a service for this village. We have been told by Lady Haverstock that we are to receive food and board whilst in this village. I would request a table for me and my 4 companions, so that we may discuss plans, rooms for the evening."
Okay.
As
And
he
I will
says
show
that,
to that-
I push the door open and I'm heaving. Frustrated. Just
Hello, Ozzy.
It's also about that time that the young halfling woman kind of cocks her head to the side and looks a little like stunned for a
Flustered?
second,
Oh, stop.
and then she kind of shakes her head and comes back to it, and she's, "Well, I've just been informed that I'm to give you all room and board. That's what you said, isn't it?"
Yes.
Aye. Right. Have a seat.
Thank you. And yeah, he'll go sit down, prop his sword and lance up against the wall, remove the chainmail cowl off it, and sort of sit down. I'm not exactly sure how he drinks this mask. That's not something I've really thought of.
Straws are illegal now, so
Pun?
Yeah,
straws are illegal now.
bamboo.
Yeah,
Bamboo.
Just
Take it.
yeah. Maybe he brings his own bamboo straw around with him.
It's a swirly straw.
Oh yeah,
it's gotta be.
It is the only whimsical thing about Barakiel.
It's like
It's
It's crazy straw. Yes, exactly.
it's like one of those party straws that forms like sunglasses. It's just behind his
No,
mask.
it's
They
one of those
attach to
beer
the mask.
helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that attaches to the mask.
Yes.
It's got
I need
little-
I need art of him now so I can draw that.
Well, talk
bet.
to Amber.
So I'm gonna tap Ozzy on the shoulder and kind of open up my cloak like I'm selling watches and be like, "Hey man, what do you make of these scrolls I picked up?"
Where did you get these?
Never mind.
Oh, what do you mean? Never mind. I can't unsee this. What? Well, don't
see-
show these in front of the crazy eyes.
Stitch is a magical cat.
Yeah,
He
you guys
pulls
are a little
things out
further
of thin
back.
air.
So.
Yeah.
I
I'll make eye contact with Ozzy and tap the seat next to me, and there's a drink there.
God damn it! God
And
damn
I'll
it!
look at Barrakill and I'll go, 1 minute, 1 second.
I'm gonna go
I-
take that seat.
All right. So Gorman
I-
sits down
okay.
next to you.
I'll use my cantrip message
Okay.
to Stitch, and I go later when he sleeps. If he sleeps, I don't know if he sleeps, but when he sleeps, show me later. Show me later.
I'll show you later. I'll hold on.
Oh.
So that's the reply.
Bjorn runs up to the table and starts whining because there's not a chair for him. And then he looks
You
at
have this
Bart,
very
who's,
large dog
like,
right next to you, Barrakiel. That's just kind of
staring.
staring
Like
at
you
you.
forgot him.
I
So-
suppose I'll take maybe some jerky out of my rations, give that to him.
He takes
The
it.
great
Like,
thing
you
about
just
do that thing
at-
where you hold it up so the dog sits.
Mhm.
Does he sit?
No.
so the great thing
He
about
just
being a
looks at
furball
you.
He'll keep doing that until the dog sits.
is I can actually understand very, very vaguely what the dog wants. So he'll actually stand up and pull the chair back, and then just sit cross-legged on the floor. So he's probably
There you
still
go.
shoulder to head
Yeah.
above the table, being 8 foot
Bjorn
something.
jumps up into the seat and sits, and is very, very content.
He doesn't take the jerky though.
That's fine. I'll put it back in my
He ain't
pack.
about
That's good to
that
know.
life.
That's good to know.
So while
Bjorn is a
that's
vegan.
happening, I will stroll up to the bar where Lady Amelia is,
Mhm.
and I'll huff myself up on a stool, and I will just kind of arch my brow for a second and hold my cards. I'm like, "You know who I am, right?"
Is he flirting?
Let's see.
Pacifica says that out loud.
And then
with that roll,
He is,
no.
it's not well.
She looks very
Okay.
kind of quizzical.
Gormer's gonna lean really close to Pacifica. What is flirting?
Pacifica is just like, she does this thing and turns and whispers in his ear
So-
and explains it.
Okay.
I will remove one of my gloves,
Mhm.
and then I pull out my guild letter of introduction, and I just slide it across the table,
Okay.
and it will have all the information about who my father is, how important I am, and I go, whatever he's asked for room and board, I want the best and farthest away from him. That won't be a problem, will it?
She takes the
And then-
paper, kind of reads it. Very, very slight smile. Folds it up very neatly and hands it back to you.
Excellent. I put it back in my cloak.
Not a problem at all, your lordship.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I will take 5 gold pieces out of my pouch and hand it to her and say, why don't you set up a keg for us of that good barrel wine, and I will head over there and wait for the key of my room.
Right enough. Takes the gold, slides it into a little drawer under the bar, and you hear a slight as she locks it, and disappears kind of into the back chamber. And so Ozzy comes and sits with the rest of the group, and you are all now at this table.
And I'm very proud of myself. I've got a
Yeah.
shit-eating grin. Just very proud.
Very happy.
Did you flirt well?
Awkward.
Yes, that's what I did.
Oh,
It was successful, Gormer.
very good.
Are you guys
We
gonna
should
hook up?
celebrate.
You know, like, what happens in Hoster stays in Hoster, so don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
I wouldn't have asked if I didn't want to know.
Well, the answer is I'm kind of a big deal around here.
No, you're not. You're small.
Yes, you are very small.
I hang my head and wait for the wine.
It takes a few minutes, and you guys see kind of this stout dwarf carrying this rather large cask of ale out. It's almost as big as he is tall, and he kind of sets it down on the edge of the table, and then tilts it, and pulls out a tap from a pouch, taps it, and begins pouring everyone some good barrel wine. Now, Ozzy, I do have to ask, how strong is this wine normally?
It's fairly strong. It's a good wine from good vineyards. If you are not careful, you can get drunk.
Okay.
And I know this, and I am taking small sips
All right.
because I am small.
All right. Is anyone imbibing carelessly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to ask Stitch and Gormer to both make Constitution saving throws, please.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, what a good way to start. 13.
Getting drunk.
Yep.
14.
Okay, so you're both okay. You feel that head rush after the second glass as you're working on your third. Like you feel that little kind of heady rush, and it's nice. But then you kind of figure, oh shit, this stuff is not messing around. Gormer, how much experience have you had with alcohol?
I'd like to believe he's actually not a stranger. He's not like a party drunk, but
Right.
he's.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, he grew up around Fey ancestry, so
That's true. Yeah,
He hangs out with Stitch, so
that's also fair.
I, on the other hand, am very familiar with the drink.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
You guys both recognize the signs of, this is stronger than we thought. So unless you want to get shit-faced, maybe slow down just a tad. But all of you are drinking this, and it is excellent wine. It is some of the best you've ever had, if not the best. Good Barrel is indeed good,
and in a barrel.
And it comes in a barrel.
Strangely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are free to talk and plan as you see fit.
Yeah. So I think
is very good.
Maybe after
You're
everyone else has
welcome.
finished a glass of wine, and I've taken Barakil's taken maybe a sip and then topped it up with water. He's a sensible person, or boring, as some might say.
Is there music playing? Are there other? Oh,
There is.
Yeah, there was.
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, you're good.
Yes, there are a couple of musicians on a small, very small stage. It is an elven woman, looks to be, playing a harp, stereotypically, and a shorter human, but very short, and he is playing a lyre, but there is no singing. It's just the music kind of playing.
It's just kind of
background.
gentle ambient.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Then, as the more he drinks, you can tell that Gormer gets a bit more and more disappointed that he's constantly looking at the music and kind of sighing and gets kind of restless.
Okay.
Stitch, being the only person who's probably seen him in these situations, he likes to dance when he gets drunk, and without the music not being something that you can really dance with, is kind of got him a little antsy.
Okay.
So I think when everyone's sort of had a little bit to drink, so they're more relaxed, Barakil lays the map out on the table and takes some pieces of copper, and he places one on Sunport and one on, where did you say the other place was? Where the witch lady was?
Woodbend.
Woodland.
Woodbend.
Woodbend. Sorry, I can't read or write. I can't hear either. Apparently,
With Ilana Race.
yes, Alana Wraith. So yeah, he puts a piece of copper on Sunport and a piece of copper on Woodbend to mark them, to mark their locations. And which one's further away? I assume Sunport is further away.
Yeah, Sunport is further away, but you do know from speaking with Lady Haverston and your previous teleportation travels that there are teleportation hubs in both Sunport and Woodbend.
Okay.
How far away is Woodbend from us?
From you guys, on foot, it's probably a full day's journey, but you could get there in a few hours on horseback.
Okay.
But once again, we have the ability to teleport, right? Is
Yes.
that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay, so we can be there instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
In either
And
place.
you have been given free use of those teleportation hubs.
Barakil says our first task is to decide where to go first. We've been given 2 leads, or we can wander aimlessly through the woodland and hope that we bump into something, which I am not a fan of. The witch or wizard in Woodbend might be able to help us understand where these portals are coming from, but I feel maybe finding some first-hand information so we have more to ask the witch might be a better idea.
So is she a good witch or a bad witch?
All you know is that she was a former keeper of the flame.
So
Actually,
bureaucrats.
Pacifica. Let's see. Yeah. Go ahead and make a history check.
Okay, awesome.
Can I also ask, due to my experience in the diplomatic regime, would I know her by reputation?
Yeah, it's possible. Go ahead and make a history check as well.
Okay.
18.
18. All right.
History is 16.
16. Okay, so you both kind of at the same time. Pacifica a little faster. Kind of. Elena raced. Yeah. Elena Raced was actually the predecessor to Perrin Yaitara as the fourth keeper of the flame. And she was known for being very scholarly, very inquisitive, and she retired about 10 years ago. But
Do we know why she retired?
her husband fell ill, so they went to live in Woodbend. It was fairly public that he was not well. And her retirement was met with, especially given the choice of her predecessor, because Perrin Yaitara was a little hot-headed, not really seen as by a lot of people as maybe the best choice for a fourth keeper, because that is a very esteemed position within the Flame Keepers. So her choice of successor was met with a little bit of disdain, but nonetheless, you guys do recognize the name, and would imagine that she probably still keeps in contact with the Flame Keepers. So she is knowledgeable, and to be a fourth keeper would have to be a very powerful magic wielder.
Pacifica relayed that to the other party members.
Yeah. And, I feel we're probably, filling in parts of the story and being like, oh, yes, and her husband fell ill. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, considering the location of the Songwood, or the Singing Woods, sorry, has Gormer been to Woodbend? Because it's kind of along the way.
Yeah, it is. You may have stopped in once or twice, or at least passed through it. Whether or not you've actually stopped there is entirely up to you.
Okay. Is it nice? Or is it kind of a...
It's nicer than Hoster. Not nearly as nice as Talim, but it's a thriving merchant city, trading post kind of area along the way.
Lots of colors?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fairly colorful.
We should go to Woodbend. It's very nice.
And what's Sunport like? Is that thriving metropolis, or...?
Sunport is kind of the Tortuga of Talaris. It's a little more seedy. Excuse me. It's a little more rough and tumble, but it is a very thriving, busy port city. It is the main port city of Talaris along the southern coast, and it is a good place to go if you want information without other people knowing that you're seeking that information. And it is a good place to go if other people are seeking you. So
Sunport sounds like my kind of place.
it would be. Actually, as given your background, you've probably been to Sunport a few times. As kind of a safe haven, they're a little more lax on the laws of the tower in Sunport. So, Stitch, yeah, you would be familiar with Sunport, and it is definitely your kind of place.
Sunport's got my vote.
I don't think I want to go there.
If we are walking to Sunport, we can stop at Woodbend along the way.
You have a map? I mean, I have a map as well, but I can't see it.
There is a map here. I'll share it again in the Discord chat. But he shared a map of the local area.
Oh yeah, I remember. But
I'm sure Ozzy doesn't want to walk all the way to Sunport.
Well, obviously someone's going to carry me, or is that changing? You'll carry me, then you won't.
I can carry you if you would like.
I would love for you to carry me, Gormer, and I just glare at Pacifica. He'll carry me.
So
I don't see Sunport on the map. It's probably too far south, right?
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so we are currently on a place that isn't in the map.
Yep, you guys are a little bit further south of Clements.
Okay.
According to that map.
Okay.
Oh, so we're We're actually really close to my home then.
Yeah, and you're about halfway at this point, like from the tip of the continent all the way down to Sunport. You're about smack in the middle.
Yeah.
In Haste.
Yeah, I think
Woodbend is a little further north, and then Sunport is directly south.
I actually forgot we weren't in Telium.
Yeah, I think Battlefield will suggest that wherever they go, they should make the journey not by teleporter, as we could possibly find leads on the way that we would miss if we were to just use the systems that transported us there instantly.
I agree.
Horses!
Yes, a horse would be a good idea.
The teleportation was a fascinating experience, but it's just not quite the same as walking through the fields and watching and talking to the flowers.
Part of our deal with Lady Haverston, are we entitled to horses? I mean, is that part of the
You guys
gig?
you guys didn't ask about mounts, but you feel like if you were to ask, yeah, she would probably be amenable to that.
That's good.
I have a very specific
Only I was
horse
another
I
level
want.
higher. Fun? Sorry. I missed what you said, I'm sorry.
I'm just talking about horses because I love them.
Barrakill would probably, take another wine and say that he also likes horses. He likes them because they're strong and are able to carry him into war.
Oh no, I just forgot your horse died! No, I asked you about that earlier and it died. I feel awful.
It was a good horse. His name was Tony.
Oh, Tony! Oh,
Tony
no!
Poor Tony.
You should rename it to About to Be Glue.
Oh. Elmer. His new name is Elmer.
Well,
I need a new horse. I should call it Jeremy.
Osborne stands up on his stool.
All right.
And finishes his glass of wine. Says, "Well, I gift you all the ale. I hope you enjoy it tonight. If we've decided on the plans, it's wine, it's ale. It's all the same to me sometimes when I drink it. Yes, but I'm going to go to bed. And if you need me, except for you, Barakil, I'll be in my room." And I hop off the stool and I start walking.
All right.
You think he's gonna hook up with the barkeep?
So you guys watch as Ozzy kind of winds around the open area and then starts heading up the stairs out of sight.
And I send a message to Stitch going, "Meet me later about the scrolls."
Okay. Stitch, you hear this, and
I do.
Having been subjected to this before, you know that you can reply to it in your head if you wish.
I'll be there shortly.
All right.
So, we've decided we're going to make our way to Sunport via horse, and then possibly stop in Woodbend on the way. Is that the plan?
Well,
Woodbend is further
Woodbend's
north.
not on the way. Yeah.
Woodbend is not on the
we
way.
could use the teleporter to go to Woodbend and then walk down.
That would be a longer journey.
I think if we go to Sunport first, then we might get more information to discuss with the ex-firekeeper, flamekeeper. Because at the moment, yeah, I've been playing Dark Souls. Yeah, I think at the moment we have almost no information that she wouldn't already know. So I think picking up some more leads might be.
And if I'm not mistaken, you said Sunport was the place where the first portal opened?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
We definitely get some eyewitness accounts.
Sunport is right on the bay, on the Tranquil, or not the Tranquil Bay. I don't remember the name of it right now. I have to look at my notes, but it's right on the bay, the southern part of the continent. So, a lot of water. So it kind of makes sense that the first portal would appear there.
And does Mario and Luigi imply all of these
Rimo and Wheelie?
Yep, Mario and Luigi, that's what I said.
I have this itch. This terrible itch. Sorry.
So, yeah, did they say that all the portals had come from the plane of water?
All of the ones that they had been tasked with clearing, and all of the ones that Lady Haverston and Perrin Yaitara had told you guys about, seem to pour forth torrents of water and creatures occasionally. So you assume that they've all been open to the plane of water.
I'm going to kind of stand up and stretch and be like, I'm going to turn in, guys. I'll see you all in the morning.
All right.
And I'm going to make my way and knock on Ozzy's door.
Okay, you hear a...
I open the door and look up.
You see a mangy tabaxi with a Victorian ruffle collar standing before you.
Come in before Crazy Eye sees you. And I close the door behind him.
There's only one.
We're assuming there's another one in there somewhere.
Yes.
It's only sunlight.
There you go.
Now,
My girlfriend drew that.
It's pretty sweet.
I sit on my bed and I'm playing with my cards. Go, where did you find these scrolls?
I took it from Lady Haverston's office.
Oh, God. Why?
They were there.
This is insane. I just start rambling. This is insane. This is insane. I merely just don't want to do this adventure, and I'm like now Baracula's best friend, and yet we have you stealing things, and Pacifica just like being more upset about having to do this than me. But I get the attention of Crazy Eye. Great.
First off, I didn't steal anything. I borrowed it permanently without asking.
My cards go over my head, go, I don't think you understand what borrow means, and they spell it out. Okay, well, regardless, do you even know what these spell scrolls are?
No, that's why I came to you.
Alright, well, just put them out on the table.
There was 3 of them, correct?
There were 2.
2 of them,
Yep.
okay. So I kind of take these 2 scrolls out of my cloak and I set it down on the table.
Okay.
All right.
So Ozzy, as you kind of unfurl these, being fairly familiar with scrolls that are arcane in nature, you're able to decipher what they are fairly quickly. One of them is a scroll of haste, and the other is a scroll of fly.
Oh.
Okay, so I look at them,
It's a good
and
roll.
I kind of ponder for a second, and I go, alright. Well, you've kind of hit the jackpot here, and a little bit of danger as well. There's haste, which I'm assuming you as a tabaxi would really enjoy, going really fast through the bushes and the woods like you did with that crazy long-necked crocodile thing. And then this one, and I'm pointing at Fly, this one is dangerous. This is Fireball.
Fireball?
This is Fireball. You shouldn't have this. It's in. Can you even speak Draconic?
Actually, believe it or not, I can.
So yeah. Oh, so you would have been able to know what these are. So you would know. That,
let me double check that. Make sure I'm not
yeah,
lying.
yeah,
I gotta
double
check my
check.
character
Oh
sheet.
shit!
Yeah,
Shit!
that's my bad.
Yeah, I actually speak Draconic.
Oh shit! Yeah. So you would have noticed this immediately, that one of them is a scroll of haste and one of them is a scroll of fly. So.
How the hell did I end up speaking Draconic?
Right?
That's a good question. But if you look at the incantation, it's actually been written over. And there's dwarvish runes on top of it that specifically have melded this into a flying fireball.
At this point, I would ask Ozzy to make a deception check.
Okay. That's a 21.
Oh, shit. Does Stitch believe him? How
At a 20.
trusting is Stitch? This will decide whether it's a contested roll or not.
Stitch is a world where he doesn't really trust anybody but
so
Gormer.
I would make an insight check.
against deception.
Yeah. Yep.
Insight?
Yep.
Yeah.
If it were Gormer, there would be no roll.
Ooh, that's only a 6.
Yeah, that's a fucking flying fireball spell.
This isn't going to do me any good. You said it's dangerous?
Yes. It's dangerous.
Are you safe with it?
I know how to read the incantations. I can keep it off of you because you're going to run off and you can just set it off. And it would be worse to catch the whole town on fire. So if you let me hold on to it, I can get rid of it for us in a very discreet way that won't get into the hands of any negligent person. Can you imagine if Barakiel knew you had this? This is bad.
So do you think you could keep it from him without him knowing you have it?
Well, I mean, watch
he seems
this.
to keep a close eye on you.
I take my cards out, and I have them. It turns into like a little butler, and it starts folding up the scroll to make it look like a card, and then I slip it into the arcane deck.
All right.
Mike, see?
I say fair enough. Then you should hold on to it, my friend.
Excellent.
I'll keep this haste one though in my
You
personal inventory.
You should. I think you'll be able to use that quite effectively.
All right.
All right.
So
If you find more scrolls, come to me first and don't just expose yourself in the tavern.
I'll bear
flying
that in mind.
fireballs. Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, what
Well,
are the
I'm
rest
gonna
of
go
you
to
doing during this? While this conversation between them is happening. You are muted, Gormer.
Oh shit.
There you go.
Are we meeting here in the morning?
I wake up very early, so I shall go to the stables and acquire us some mounts.
You have to give me a very specific one.
If you would like, I awake at 5 in the morning every day. You may come with me to the stables.
Can I just draw it?
I will be here for breakfast. And Gormer's gonna stand up and adjust his garments. And he's gonna take a deep breath and kind of flick out his wrists, and as he does, he's going to drop 3 feet in height and turn into a little old woman and
All right.
go for a walk.
All right.
He's going to see how close he can get before too late to his old home.
Oh, okay. All right. So you guys watch as Gormer's form suddenly kind of... Oh, hold it. My monitor went out again.
Drops 3 feet shorter than normal.
My monitor went out again. I apologize. Keep everybody else. What is everyone else doing?
Yeah, I think when Gorma leaves, Brachiel's still on his first glass of wine. It's takes out a very precise, neat, looks almost new deck of cards and just opens it up and starts dealing a game of solitaire to play by himself. And yeah, if anyone wants to talk to him, he will talk back, but otherwise he'll just sip his wine and occasionally maybe scribble a note on the map and plot out some directions for the route they'll have to take. But mostly he's just being quiet.
Okay. Pacifica and Bjorn.
Pacifica and Bjorn probably go to retire to their room.
Okay.
And she keeps to herself in her room mostly. It's in the evenings that she tries to de-stress. Any crying she needs to do, she gets it out and just snuggles with her pup on the bed.
Okay. The bed creaks as Bjorn crawls into it.
He kind of balls around her too.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah. She becomes a half moon, and you just kind of snuggle up in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big old pupper. All right. So, you all, four of you, blah, 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 I can talk, I promise. 4 of you find yourself to an evening of rest, fairly early evening. Gormer, on the other hand, as you exit the tavern, and you're kind of just sort of moseying. Are you rapidly walking, or are you just kind of sauntering?
I mean, his saunter is still going to be faster than most.
Yeah.
He'll
Surprising
be,
speed for an old woman.
Yeah. He'll be enjoying the night air and just kind of... He'll take his time a bit, but he does have a place that he needs to be. He'll walk with purpose. But.
Right. So, It doesn't take you long to reach the main road that cuts up through almost the entire continent of Talaris that leads almost due north to Talim. And you would recognize this road. You've seen it many times before. And it is the main thoroughfare that merchants and wagons take through to get to the major city. And across the way, you do see a river, and you would recognize this as well. I believe this would be the Glintfell River, and where you are right now, there is no bridge across it, but it is a relatively slow-moving river.
He's not gonna go that far. He'll walk to the edge of the river. Can you see the Singing Wood from there, though?
You can.
Okay.
You can see the tree line ahead of you, kind of darkened shadows as the sun is beginning to set behind the jagged peaks of the mountains in the west.
Then he will kind of dip his toes in the water and just kind of hug his knees to his chest and just quietly sing the song he was taught to himself, just staring at the woods.
All right. And as you sit there and hum to yourself and quietly begin to sing, you hear very, very faintly from across the way an echo singing back that you recognize as the source of the Singing Wood's name, and it brings a sense of comfort.
He'll play with the braid very gently until his fingers kind of touch the zinnia in his hair, and he'll kind of stop, and the light will kind of fade from him a little bit, and he'll just kind of drop in volume and just kind of spend most of his night just staring and singing.
Okay. All right. So all of you, eventually Gormer finding his way back to the tavern and to his room. You all get a full night's rest, and your next destination is on the horizon, Sunport City. Barakiel is the first to rise, and very early morning, before the roosters have even begun to crow, you rise and look out the window in your room, and you can see people are already starting to move about this place. There are quite a few shops that don't open this early, but they have to begin preparations for the day, like bakers and restaurants beginning to prep the meals for the day. And you can see in the distance the black smoke of the forge begin to emanate from the kiln, and the city is yours. Village, city, kind of both.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So one of the many reasons Barakiel gets up so early in the morning is because his morning regime is, quite long. All of his equipment is very precisely laid out, so that if he needed to rush, he very much could get, don his armor, pick up his sword all very quickly. But he does it sort of very slowly and ceremoniously, making sure that every link in the chainmail is still together, and fixing any that might have broken in the fight. He takes off the mask. He puts on the mask again because he doesn't wear it while he's sleeping, because he doesn't have his eyes open while he's sleeping. Puts that on, gets dressed, puts the sword on. Basically, everything is very precise in its place, and when he is ready, he doesn't bother knocking for anyone else. He goes straight to the stables to talk to the stable master.
Okay. Excuse me. So as you arrive to the stables, you do see a human female there, and she's currently grooming one of the horses out in a little paddock area. It's fenced in, and she's kind of blearily brushing down this horse and doesn't seem to notice your approach at first.
So yeah, he would not like go into the gate, but he would stand patiently sort of by the gate, probably just like hands behind his back, standing sort of at ease and waiting to sort of get her attention when she notices him. Okay. Like he's not in a huge rush. Right. He's just sort of standing there like an ominous sentry.
Okay. It takes a few minutes, but she eventually swings to the other side of the horse, and as her head kind of peeks over the flank of the horse, she does notice you, and you see her, and what you see is a human woman, probably about mid-20s, and the first thing you notice is she is strikingly very pretty, and like it's you've seen a lot of people in this town just kind of milling about, and this particular girl is probably the prettiest one you've seen. And she has blonde hair that's kind of pulled up in a tight bun, and she's wearing a smock over her to kind of keep her clothes from getting covered in horsehair. And she continues brushing and just kind of calls out to you a greeting.
Brachial raises a hand. Hail, I have come to speak to the stable master. May I enter?
And she nods and kind of just points over to the door, which you can see from where you are.
He goes in, opens the door, steps through, closes the door, makes sure it's on the latch, and he goes up to her and says, me and my 4 companions are on a task for the elder of your village, the leader of your village. We require mounts. If I am required to leave a deposit for them, that is acceptable, but we are to do overland travel and require mounts.
Okay. Do you show her the letter of safe passage?
I mean, if she looks like he will if she doesn't immediately say anything, he will like take out a scroll, very deftly.
She does look a little just caught off guard at your presence because you are very tall and very imposing. But
he doesn't even look back because obviously he puts everything in a very precise place, right. So he knows exactly where the scroll is. He takes it out and just unfurls it and shows it to her.
Okay. She looks it over and nods, and just nods again and begins. And she kind of looks back at you questioningly, and holds up a hand and goes,
so he says, I require a strong mount. I feel the Furbolg in our party also will require a large mount, being a large person. Possibly the halfling will require a pony, or maybe riding dog. I'm not too sure what these people ride.
At this, she kind of, but you hear no sound.
The Tabaxi, I feel he will also require a light pony or small travel horse. And the druid, I feel she wants something very friendly and easy to ride.
Did Pacifica give you a description of what she
I don't know, did she, or was she doing?
Pacifica drew on a napkin.
Was it a good drawing?
Pacifica's actually a
will you roll performance to see how good it was?
Yes, we will.
So hopefully she didn't just fat finger it with a bad Sharpie.
Let's find out. Roll that performance check.
10.
Oh, yeah, it's It's a pretty good
The thing
It
that
looks like a
really
horse.
matters, let me tell you, the thing that really matters is she's able to get in that it's supposed to be a paint horse, so like the black and white, and she's able to like get in that it's supposed to have the feathered hooves. Hannah, as a horse expert, will tell you it would be a gypsy manor.
All right.
Yeah, Barakil says, like, we'll show the picture, say, she requested something like this, but I feel she just needs something friendly and that will put up with her talking.
Let's see. Let's see here. We're gonna roll to see.
Asmar holding a
to see.
napkin.
Yes.
A bar napkin.
Like he
nonetheless.
has it. It's very
a terrifying mask.
Oh.
And she even signed it like an artist.
Frame that.
Painful.
All right. So she looks at the drawing and she kind of grimaces and she's like, "It's a small village."
Oh,
and
I will tell her you tried your absolute best.
And so she will go back to where the horses are kept. I'm not familiar with stable area names, but she gets the horses out of their stalls and brings 5 horses forward. 2 of them are a little smaller, not quite ponies. Like they're full size horses, but they are a little more diminutive than the others. Heeding your request, and 2 of them are almost war horses in their size and build. They look very sturdy, and on one of them,
Frisian?
do what?
They're the Frisian.
Sure.
They're big, black, and war horses.
Sure. Why not?
Oh, I was going to say Destrier, but
I was gonna say Arabians. I don't know what the fuck different kind of horses there are. I don't know.
Arabians are not war horses.
All right then. I don't know horses. What? The 2 of them are big. All right, they're big. You do notice that one of them,
1 medium, 2 small.
one of them has a large scar along its left flank that looks like it may have been sustained in a fight, but is long healed and it walks fine. Doesn't seem to be a problem. It's just kind of a distinctive.
Is that one of the larger ones?
Yes.
Barakil will take a brush and start cleaning, because I assume this is early in the morning,
Yep.
so he'll start helping the lady get the horses ready,
Okay.
as he used to work with horses
All right.
and had one.
Then I will say make an animal handling check with advantage, given your background, the fact that these are domesticated, and you have assistance from the lady.
I can't. I rolled 2 17s,
Oh.
and I assume I probably don't have animal handling. I have +1, so 18.
All right. Yeah. Easy enough. You and she does manage to take a pen and kind of spell out her name, and her name is Hilda.
Hilda? Yep.
Hilda, Hilda. And you've gotten the idea at this point that she doesn't speak, whether she chooses not to or can't really say
That's
at this
fine.
point. But she's very effective at communicating through gestures and a sort of sign language that's easy to interpret. So you have your horses. They are groomed. They are fed.
Yep.
And they are saddled.
So after Hilda gives me a scrap of paper with her name on it, or does she just write it out on my hand? Or,
No, it's a scrap of paper.
Okay. So Barakil will take out a small piece of parchment and write his name in Celestial script and pass that to her, with a translation of how to pronounce it in Common underneath.
Oh, okay. So she will take the paper and she reads the Celestial first and just kind of cocked her head to the side, and then she sees
The Celestial is
under it.
very beautiful, ornate. It almost looks like artwork.
Yeah.
So
I picture it as being like a really nice calligraphy.
yeah, yeah.
So
it takes time.
yeah, she's very patient though. She waits.
Yeah.
So she takes it and she smiles and then very neatly folds it up, and it is perfectly straight, very very exact folds. and puts it in a little pouch at her side. So you now have your horses.
Yep.
And
I asked her to help me transport them to the bar.
Yep.
Yep.
So, and my food has arrived. So.
That's a good spot.
Yeah. This is a great narrative beat to take our break on. We are going to take a 10 to 15 minute break. I will have the timer set for 15 minutes, just so we have a little bit of extra time if we need it. But hopefully we'll be back in closer to 10 minutes. So we will see you all very shortly, and we'll pick up right there where Barakiel has the horses, and we are getting ready to begin the journey to Sunport. So, I'm gonna mute everything. And we are back. All right. I said, here we go. So 11 minutes, not too bad. Yeah. All right.
Some of us are still eating, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's mid snack time.
Yeah, it's dinner time for a lot of us, a few of us. Anyway, bringing it back in. So we had just seen Barakiel gather horses for the party from the stables in Hoster. And we will now cut to Stitch, who is just beginning to rouse from his kitty slumber.
So Stitch kind of gets up from his bed and kind of gives one of these stretches, and he's wearing nothing but his underwear. And in nothing but his underwear, he marches downstairs to the bar in front of God and everybody. And, he's kind of just sitting there like, he's just kind of like coughing, and walks up to the bar, and I assume there's like a pot of coffee up there, so he kind of pours himself a cup of coffee and leans up against the bar with his coffee, and everybody's just staring at him like, what the hell is this mangy cat form doing in his underwear?
Two notes. Right now, there's no one else in the bar because it's super early in the morning, except for like one drunk guy who just you would remember him from the night before as well. Like, he just seems to hang out in that particular corner, just slumped over with a tankard of whatever in his grasp. But you do see a half-orc gentleman standing at the bar in the middle of wiping it down, and he's just stopped. And he just kind of looks you up and down.
And I look at him, and I take a sip of my coffee as I kind of scratch myself, and I go, morning. And then I kind of put my coffee down, and I turn around, and I keep kind of coughing like a fur ball stuck in my throat. And then I kind of let that sucker loose right on the bar, and I kind of pick my coffee back up and kind of sip it and look at it and go, put the coffee down and march back on upstairs to my room to get dressed.
You can hear him muttering as you turn away. Goddamn foreigners, and he's just a very angry, surly orc, not happy right now.
Sounds like my dad. Like, his name is Jonathan. That's his name now.
Oh wow. So that is wow. Yeah, that's a hell of a way to wake up, Stitch. Now we will come to Pacifica. How does Pacifica's morning look?
So Pacifica wakes up in the morning, and she wakes up like a Disney princess, and she sits up and she goes, ah! And her dog is just kind of staring at her very intensively. Because first thing in the morning, Pacifica always waters her dog, feeds him, and takes him outside before she does anything for herself.
Okay.
But since she's in public, and many things in her life have led her to being very modest, at least in most things, she quickly gets dressed, and takes her dog outside and feeds him and gets him some water and everything like that, before heading back up to her room immediately with her dog and finishing getting ready for the day. So taking out her comb and combing her hair, and she's got to put her seashell earrings in and all her little jewels and knickknacks. Mm-hmm. And she probably spends a little bit of time just kind of staring out the window, thinking about home, thinking about how much she misses her home, misses her foster mother, and how much she really misses just being able to walk by the seaside in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's almost like that daydream type of thing where someone just stares out the window and just almost goes someplace else in their head. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't come downstairs to like meet with the rest of the party until a little after 9 in the morning.
Barakiel has been there for 3 hours. All right, so next we will come to Ozzy. What does Ozzy's morning look like?
Okay. Ozzy begins stirring and hearing the birds chirping outside, feeling the soft glow light of the sun. I forget where I am in this moment, and I start muttering for my family's handmaid, Mara, to come begin the daily ritual of like preparing breakfast. I get a little frustrated in my voice, and I say her name 3 more times, and then I look around, and then the smell hits me of where I am, and I just let out this loud, "Oh, God damn it." And then I start standing up, and I start dressing myself, and set to work of cleaning off my deck of cards and making sure that the fly spell scroll is still in there. And I take some of my cards and I shape them into a coffee flagon, and I start heading downstairs. And I'm going to say I passed Stitch on his way back up.
I was just going to say.
And I just take a look, and I mutter, "This is my new normal. This is my new normal. I can do this." And then as I get to the stairs, and I see Barakiel down at the table, I say, "I can't do this," and I go back into my room.
All right.
And I lay down on my bed, and I stare at the ceiling.
All right.
And that's me.
And that brings us finally to Gormer. Gormer, after a night of contemplation and reflection near the water's edge, listening to the sacred song that you've grown so accustomed to in your life, you managed to come back and get a full night's rest. It was dreamless, but fitful. But you do awake in the morning feeling a little refreshed, a little groggy.
So Gormer wakes with the sun every morning. Basically, as soon as the first rays of light breach his window, he's awake. He sleeps in more of a nest on his bed, less of just under the covers, more of everything kind of piled into one area until it's comfortable for him to lay on. And he will pull himself out of bed and kind of pull on the very basic vestments and do stretches, a few almost ballet stretches against the wall and on the floor. And as soon as he's limbered up and kind of got all of the creaks and cracks out of his body, he'll quickly rebraid his hair, not really paying much attention.
Right.
All the baubles and things were still in it from the night before. It just kind of gets braided in as well. And as soon as he's all set up, he'll pull on the upper vestments and tie them on with a belt and take a very slow time to kind of remind himself of the tune and the pitch while he's wrapping his hands. Mm-hmm. And he will come down quietly.
Okay.
And just he will have a small breakfast, nothing much, and then he will find a place in the sun and just bask for about an hour before coming back inside.
Okay. So, you are all eventually, except for Ozzy, gathered around the table. Ozzy has not come down that any of you have seen. Stitch, you did pass him on the stairs, just momentarily in your half-awake state. You vaguely remember seeing him, and then you didn't. So,
I think Barakiel will call over a server and ask them to go up to Ozzy's room with a polite knock and a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
and if that doesn't bring him down, then he will go up himself.
Okay. It's a young man. Looks to be in his teens.
Yep.
And
he like
kind of
Bracket will like pass him a silver piece or whatever.
all right. And he pockets it. Oh, thank you, sir. And pockets it. And I told you they were terrible.
See, that one I'm actually offended by.
Then I'll keep doing it.
Good. As you should.
So he kind of rushes up the stairs with a mug of coffee, and Ozzy, you hear a light on your door.
I use prestidigitation from my bed to open the door. I let it open.
And you just kind of a wide-eyed teenage boy is standing there, a human, and you're just holding out a cup of coffee, like just.
Yes.
It's shaking a little.
What do you want?
I was told to bring this to you.
Bring what to me?
This coffee,
Put it on the table, please.
right? Sets it down on the side table and just scurries away.
Look out, he has the plague.
And he rushes down. You see him come down the stairs, Brachial. He just looks like a little shaken, and he just goes back into like the back area where the kitchen is.
He'll just continue. Well, he's probably finished his breakfast a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
So he'll probably go outside and like start introducing people to their horses.
Okay.
Did Ozzy come out of his room? Is he still hiding?
He's still hiding.
Come out.
He's still in there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get a knock on his door fairly soon.
It's open. Unless Ozzy closed it in the meantime.
I didn't close it.
All right, it's open. You see Ozzy sitting on the bed, just kind of slumped, head in
Can we
hands.
see him through the window?
Just staring at the ceiling.
So yeah, you see him, and he's just hanging out of the bed, just staring.
Yeah. Barrick will say, I want our journey to go as possible. So I feel we should give Lord Osmond another 5 minutes. And if he hasn't come down, we shall assume that he is a deserter. Kill him. He just sort of looks at everyone.
What do the rest of you do at this?
Pacifica is just kind of like.
And he's like, as he says this, he's just
Watch
gently
all of you turn evil right now. You're like, yep, kill him.
Stroking the
Holy
horse.
shit.
Perhaps
Holy
I could
shit.
just go carry hhim. Maybe that's what he's waiting for. I'll go get him now.
He's waiting for his furball carriage.
and Gurmal,
Don't turn yourself into a slave.
we'll go get him.
Okay.
So Barricule will very calmly introduce Pacifica to her horse and tell her its name.
It has a name?
His name is Petal.
Oh, Petal.
Yes, I have named all the horses.
Okay, yeah, mark down the name of your horses so that you remember them, because I will not. I'll eventually write them down, I'm sure. But
yeah,
so Pacifica has Petal. Go ahead.
I feel that the horse for Stitch is like a bit of a. It is one of the smaller ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the smaller, lither ones, and it's got like a matted mane that I could swear I stroked out this morning.
Yeah, it's
But
tangled again.
I look at it confused, and I'm like, you might want to clean his mane. His name is Scruff. I don't know why. And obviously this incredibly powerful mount is Jeremy.
I'm on it.
Jeremy, who has seen many tough battles and will do the same. But hopefully Lord Osmond and the Furbolg will be down soon, and they can meet their mounts.
All right.
I'm bad with names. I do know it.
Write them down. So Gormer and Ozzy. Ozzy, as you're sitting in your room with the door still open, you can hear Barrakiel talking to the rest of the party just outside your window. And you heard what he said about being declared a deserter and having to be killed.
All right.
Just
So
a few
I'm assuming
seconds later, you hear heavy footfalls on the steps. So
It's like, I see Gormer, and I go, all right. He's threatened to kill me again, huh?
I'm here to save you.
Okay. And I just put my arms up like a toddler ready to be picked up.
Yep. We'll just pick him up, put him on the shoulders normal, make sure his feet are secure, kind of look around the room, make sure there's nothing, and then hand him the cup of coffee before we leave.
Yep.
Gormer is so sweet. Love him. All right.
He'll gently walk downstairs a lot softer than he came up.
Yep.
And he'll just kind of duck, make sure kind of keep a hand above Ozzy to make sure that he's not get beamed with a beam.
All right. So as you guys come down the stairs.
Yeah. When we get down there, I don't make eye contact with Bracco. I go, well, it's so nice. You won't have to kill Lord Osmond anymore. And then I smirk to myself and then realize where I am again and just kind of like...
Gormer, you shouldn't let yourself be his slave.
Oh, I'm not a slave. I'm his friend. Right?
You're not a slave. You're not a slave. I'm not in the slave business. In fact, here, I take good care of my friends, and I place a gold piece right next to where I'm sitting on his shoulder. For your troubles.
Thank you. It doesn't look like he really understands what you've given. Like, obviously, it's like, oh, yes, I know what this is for, but...
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yes, so don't worry, Gormer, you shan't have to carry the halfling much longer. Not that it's much strain, but this is your mount, whose name I haven't thought of yet, because I've been coming up with these off the cuff.
We'll get back to this.
Yes, this is your mount. Please think of a name if I don't. And Ozzy, this is your mount, and it's like a very small, not a pony, but it's a small horse, and it's sort of like padding away, trying to just look over its shoulder, preening itself. And I said, "This is your horse, Princess."
Of course.
She is very lovely. You'll be good friends, and he'll put her down. Put Lord Osmond down on the horse.
Footballs need to learn genders.
Yep. I was thinking the horse.
Yeah.
I'll just
pick
put the
up the
horse
horse.
on
You
top
picked
of
up the
Ozzy.
horse and put it on top of Ozzy.
Yep.
Oh, God.
All right. So, Gormer, your horse needs a name.
I know.
Chrysanthemum.
Yes.
Oh, that
Deal.
is really good, actually. All right.
Yeah.
So, Chrysanthemum. Chris for short.
We have Jeremy and Chris.
Now you just need a godlike entity called Hobart. No. So yeah, you all have your mounts. They all have names. You become acquainted with them, and you are free to set out towards Sunport City.
While Gormer is writing, he will be braiding Chrysanthemum's mane.
Of course, I assumed, and putting flowers in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, you got me.
Yep. Gotcha. All right. So as you guys are traveling, based on the map that you were given, you would know that it is roughly 6 days travel on horseback to Sunport City from Haste. So it's a good distance, but it would be 2 weeks on foot. So you're definitely shaving off over a week of time by taking horses. And that is if you go at a normal pace and don't push them too hard. So You guys travel down the way, and you travel for the better part of a day before you... and as you go, you're kind of passing traveling wagons and merchants laden with goods as they go by, but none of them really catch your attention or call out to you.
Garm would wave at all of them, though.
Oh, of course. Some of them wave back, but most kind of keep to themselves and keep along the path and don't really look at you guys as you pass. You do get the occasional glance at Barakeel and Stitch, being the two most kind of outlandish members of your party. And people just seem to kind of sidle to the other side of the road and continue on their way. However, as you travel, you do eventually come across a strange man traveling along. He is dressed in very fine silks that are immaculately clean, and he looks to be human, although there's something really not quite human about him, but it's not really a race that you guys are familiar with, so the closest approximation would be human. He is balding on top, but has a glorious handlebar mustache that kind of curls up at the edges in these long spirals, and he is carrying a large, twice his height rucksack on his back. And as you guys kind of cross paths, he raises a hand in greeting. "Hello, weary travelers."
Hello. Friend?
"Yes, friend. My name is Oscar Brendlewood. Might I interest you in some wares?" And
No,
as he says this pack just kind of collapses behind him into a large tent, and things begin to arrange themselves inside of it and kind of encapsulate him until he is now standing in a pop-up shop behind a desk with all manner of items hanging behind him. "I have many goods to offer, friends. At good prices." No?
I send a message to Stitch. This guy gives me the willies.
Yeah, this seems a tad bit shady to me as well.
Like the guy selling watches.
Gormer's gonna hop off his horse.
All right.
Former.
Seeing Gorma stop, like Barakeel will just like wheel his horse, go to the entrance and like loom over the tent and look down at this man and say, "Have you travelled from Sunport?"
I've traveled all over, friend. I've been to
Recently.
Sunport. Recently. Define recently.
When did the portal happen?
Portal. You
no,
mean...
no, I'm not asking the character. I'm asking DM.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The portal in Sunport was roughly 2 months ago. That's about when they started appearing.
So I ask if he's been there within the last season, in the last like.
Indeed, I have, friend. What would you like to know?
Who does us? Like, what's the general demeanor in Sunport at the moment? What are people talking about? Any rumors? Speculation?
Plenty of rumors, friend. You'll have to be a bit more specific.
Is there any way to get a read on this guy to see if he's full of shit or not?
Would you like to make an insight check?
I would absolutely love to make an
All right.
insight check.
Go right ahead.
And that's absolutely nothing. I got a 7.
7? Seems to be above board. Just a traveling salesman.
I think, is anyone saying anything about their suspicions, or
suspicions regarding what?
No, is anyone else just like looking at him where, like, just got Gormer inside, like touching all the things?
Yeah. Gormer's looking for pretty things and baubles.
There are a lot of pretty things and baubles.
I'll approach.
Okay.
And I'll get off my horse. And I'll look at him. And I go, and I offer my hand. and I'm offering in the suggestion of like one guild merchant would greet another, and I ask him for his letter of introduction.
Okay.
To see if like he's recognized in with the Merchants Guild.
He takes your hand and shakes it and matches it perfectly. And then very deftly from a side pouch pulls out a small folded up piece of paper and kind of unfurls it and shows it to you. And it is indeed a letter from the Merchants Guild in Talim.
So I kind of look at Ozzy and I say, hey, sidebar. And like we kind of huddle over and I say, is this dude legit or what?
Yeah, he's legit. I haven't met any of these. What trait does it say he has? I'm assuming this is a magical mercantile shop where he's got various small magical trinkets.
Yep, magical goods.
He's a magical goods salesman, but he's on board. He's got all the right papers.
All right. Let's see what kind of wares this guy's peddling then.
So, are there any flowers?
Gormer, you don't see any flowers per se. There are carvings and engravings of flowers on some of the items, however. And some of them are intricate enough to be almost lifelike. You see a few shields hanging off the wall that are adorned in roses that kind of spiral up into kind of a figure 8 pattern and meet at the top. You see a few spears hanging along the wall that have thorns kind of wrapped around the shafts, very, very delicately carved, so as not to make the wood brittle and prone to breaking. You see a few rings that look like they are carved in the shape of flower petals.
He'll kind of the rings will catch his attention. He doesn't wear rings, but he has a fascination with them.
He notices you looking at him.
He'll stoop down real low and kind of get eye level with them.
They're in a little display shelf, seemingly no protection over them, like they're not in a protected case or anything. But you do notice that he has a very watchful eye on all of the merchandise. And see anything that interests you, friend?
I see a lot of things that interest me.
Anything in particular?
Well, on the ride up here, we saw daisies.
Indeed.
But I really like these. Are they for sale?
Everything is for sale, friend.
Oh.
Do you barter in spell scrolls?
If the scroll is rare enough, sure. What do you have?
Can we look at your wares of what you have? Like, do you work in spell scrolls as well? I might have something to trade.
I personally do not deal in spell scrolls. That is not in my purview. Being a fellow guild member, you would know that magical items are a little different. Little bit of a domain overlap, if you will. I have magical items.
Well, I send the merchant a message going, I have a spell scroll flying. It's a 3rd level spell. I'd like to trade it for a magic item of similar worth and value.
Okay. You see his eyes kind of widen, and like that smile gets even bigger, if possible. Like it seems to unnaturally stretch across his entire head. He is just a very smiley person. And he responds back, let's see if we can make a deal then. So,
what kind of rings do you have?
I'm glad you asked. I have, and he kind of Gormer from in front of Gormer, he takes the little display case and sets it on the main counter, and he kind of starts pointing them out one by one. And I have here a ring of feather falling.
Ooh, that's very nice.
A ring of protection.
Mm-hmm.
A ring of spell storing.
Oh, that is very nice.
A ring of jumping.
That one sounds like fun.
A ring of mind shielding. A ring of swimming. And I think this one might interest you, friend. And he looks at Barakeel. Hi, kitty! And he says, and this is a ring of the ram.
I think when he talks to Barakeel, Barakeel will lay his eye upon him, and it will glow golden. And I'm going to divine sense to see to sense the presence of any undead, celestial, or fiend.
All right. So the eye kind of pulses, and he just kind of, that's different. But
Go on. This is flirting.
But you don't sense any fiend or undead or celestial.
Okay.
But now he is just kind of like, he seems less interested in you and more interested in the eye that just flashed, and like the mask.
You can't have it; it's attached.
We can fix that.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to the whole package.
See, Gorma flirting.
Anyways, down here. Remember, I'm here.
Yes. Yes, Fred.
Shiny object.
Yes, Fred.
I would like to trade for the ring of spell storing and ring of featherfall.
Okay. Give me just 1 second here. Looking up the value of the flying scroll here.
Oh, I don't know why the DM side.
Yeah. Should have had that up.
I message while this is happening. I message to Stitch. You probably can't really use that spell scroll of haste effectively, but you might enjoy that ring of jumping.
Okay.
I'll reply back. Perhaps.
So
I'm pretty hasty myself to begin with.
Oscar will kind of consider for a moment, and let me see this scroll.
So I hand it over, and I go, and then I message him and I say it's a legit scroll. The Tabaxi thinks it's a flying fireball. Don't fuck this up.
Make a persuasion check, please.
Ah, Jesus. Okay. All right. Natural 20. 25.
Nice.
Nice. A 25. Yeah. Oscar's a wily one, but Ozzy seems to have the gift of gab today, and
Yep.
he kind of nods. Very well. I will take this scroll. And what was it you wanted?
The ring of spell storing and the ring of featherfall.
The cost of those together, it's not quite equal to the scroll's value. I would have to ask for an extra 100 gold, please.
Well, but would the added benefit of being in the good favor of the Good Barrel family subset that cost?
Let's see, based on that persuasion roll here. Oh, yeah, okay. He kind of eyes you up and down, kind of noting your general appearance, and why I believe it might. You've got yourself a deal, friend.
Excellent.
And I just lost my monitor again. This thing is driving me absolutely crazy. Alright, never mind. It's back.
Set it on fire.
Alright. So...
flying fireball.
Oh, hold on. I can't hear anything.
Oh no.
Technical difficulties, the real enemy
All right,
of the DM.
the DM is down for the count. Let's kill the merchant and take everything.
I mean, you could.
Roll
I
initiative
just
right
want
now.
a cape of billowing.
You could.
Vampire guide.
You want a cape of billowing?
It does nothing but billow.
Oh, I know.
That's the
I'm
best
aware.
item.
Yeah.
Actually, is Barakil wouldn't want one. My other character that I was going to play with.
So are there any daggers in this shop or anything other of note? Any other magical items, or just strictly
Let's
rings?
see. Something of interest to you, Stitch. And he kind of notices the weapons that you carry and your just general demeanor. For you, friend, I believe this would be of interest. And he holds up it looks like a simple leather belt, but it has 3 pouches on either side for like holsters for daggers or thrown weapons. And this is a blinkback belt. A rather common magical item, but not many seem to have one for some reason. Essentially, when you throw an object that is holstered in this, it will reappear back into the belt. So you don't have to go searching for your thrown weapons later.
That would definitely come in handy. What's something like that cost?
Normally I would charge 150 gold, but for you, 100.
I happen to have a scroll of haste I'd be willing to trade.
Indeed. I will happily make that trade. Do you trade it?
Heck yeah.
Alright. So, you no longer have the scroll of haste, but you now have a scroll or a blinkback belt. Thank you, Pathfinder.
And all the items fall apart after one use.
Yeah, exactly. As seen on TV.
Yes.
All right. Is anyone else looking for anything?
To clarify on the Ring of Spell Storing,
Mhm.
did I purchase an empty ring, or are there spells already in it?
You would have to attune to it to find out.
Okay. Alright, I will...
But if you ask him, do you?
Yeah, I'll ask him.
As far as I know, it's empty. The man I bought it off of didn't say that it had anything stored in it, but, people
Okay.
lie.
Well, that's true.
And incredibly ominous.
I will just put that in my pocket and worry about that later.
Okay. Alright. Anyone else?
Oh, I don't have any money.
Oh, sorry. I completely forgot to let you guys know that you were, when you woke up in the morning, you were greeted with a package from Lady Haverston. Since you have agreed to her terms.
Better late than never.
Yeah, sorry. You each have an extra 50 gold.
Okay.
I suppose.
Fantastic.
I suppose I
With
would
that
ask
being said,
for the cost of a ring of protection in this setting.
Let's see. Ring of protection. I have everything listed here. Ring of protection. That would run you about 400.
Hmm.
Whew!
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Of course, if you have anything to trade, that mask.
I'm afraid the mask stays on.
Die.
Probably burn down your.
Oh,
Not on purpose. of
well, we
course.
can't have that.
No. No.
I get back on my horse and kind of wait. Just
Okay.
patiently.
Well, seeing as you're all traveling together, I do have an item that perhaps you would want to pool resources for. and he pulls out this metal cube, and it's about 3 inches on every side, and it's a solid black metal, and he kind of holds it in one hand, and then he throws it out into the midst of all of your horses, and mutters a word under his breath, and this tent just begins to unfold from every side of the cube and grows larger and larger until your horses actually kind of have to shy away from the sides of it. And it pops up into what looks like a 2-person tent. And he will say, "This is a magical tent. It can comfortably sleep 10 people." Humor. It's fun. All you need to do is speak a command word, and this tent will pop up once per day, and it can comfortably sleep up to 10 people. It also has a full kitchen and dining facilities. And anything you leave inside of it, up to, I believe it's 300 pounds, will stay inside of it.
Interesting.
It is
What does something
also
like that run?
It is also fully stocked with provisions. Oh, this is relatively simple. So this would run you about 75 gold. But between the 5 of you, that shouldn't be too much.
I feel like we should have this.
Where did you get these items? It seems you're very well stocked.
I make a good deal of them, but I have friends. I also trade.
You're looking a gift horse in the mouth, Brachial.
As Barakiel tends to do.
Mm-hmm.
Gormer will put 56 gold on the counter.
Oh, wow.
I would like the cube.
Oh.
Whew.
I'll throw the remaining on it. You said
Alright,
75 gold?
Yep, so 19 gold from Stitch, 56 gold from Gormer.
He basically just takes his coin pouch off his belt and just puts it on the...
Well then.
Alright. So he will explain to you that once you have the item, you can reset the command word to whatever you wish it to be. And whoever holds it and speaks the command word, every day it resets, every long rest, essentially, mechanically speaking. Every long rest, this will reset, and you can use it once per day. It lasts for 10 hours. So it can be entered by anyone, but again, from the outside, it has the appearance of a 2-person tent, and on the inside, it's 10.
What? Brachial asks, what happens if the outside is by a giant? Something large.
As long as the structure remains fairly intact, you need only speak the command word and it will revert to its previous cube shape, and then it will reset once more. That's the nature of magical enchantments. Very handy.
What would happen to us if it was blown away or crushed or hit by lightning?
I imagine it would be most unpleasant. I don't know.
So it doesn't offer protection.
I honestly don't know. I've never actually used one.
It's really not a problem. I have a way with nature. I think we'll be okay.
Nice. Just talk to the storm and the giants.
Yeah.
I speak giant. I'm Giant Kin.
Oh, well, in that case, perfect.
That is true. Alright. So,
Okay.
Does anyone else wish anything else of Oscar Brendlewood?
No, Pacifica's literally stayed on the opposite side of the road because her and creepy guys don't mix.
That's fair. He's not creepy.
Well,
He's
apparently
just
they
really
do. You've got 4 of them already.
Alright.
Yeah, Brachial hasn't even got his horse.
Does he have any like wind chimes or just like what are they called? The light traps, just like stained glass on a mobile? Just
Sure.
trinkets?
We'll say that he does.
Could I have one of those as well? And find the one with the brightest colors, or the nicest looking chimes.
Since you were so generous with the rest of your friends earlier, sure, we'll throw it in. No charge.
Thank you.
Just tell everyone you meet. Oscar Brindlewood took care of you.
Oscar Brindlewood. Best of luck. Safe journey on the road, Oscar.
Thank you. Same to you, friend.
And following his instructions, Gormer will step inside and hang up these chimes, just the first place he can.
All right. Yeah, it's just like right inside the entrance. You see a and as you step inside, it's strange. It's like stepping into a tent flap, but as soon as you're inside, it's like a house. There are walls that are made of fabric but look solid, and there are hallways that lead into different chambers, and like it's much bigger on the inside than it looks from the outside. And there is a single metal beam that kind of runs along the top center of the structure, and that you can hang the wind chime off of, or the stained glass. It could be a stained glass wind chime if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Sure. And so that's done. And you can, since Gormer paid for the majority of it, does Gormer keep it, or does he hand it off to someone else?
He'll hand it off to someone else.
Who does he give it to?
He'll kind of just hold out in his hand, see
who takes it.
Gesture it to everyone.
I'll grab it.
All right. So Stitch has Heward's handy pop-up tent.
What is it again? I'm sorry.
Heward, Heward ''S. Handy pop-up tent. I'll send you the info card for it. So yeah, you have a tent that can comfortably sleep all of you, with room to spare.
Fantastic.
In case we have guests.
I'm very happy with this item. I don't think we could have purchased anything better.
Well, I'm glad you bought it for us. Thank you very much, Gormer.
Oh, we all bought it.
Yes, we all bought it. You're absolutely right.
It was my money, but it was for all of us.
Oh, good. You understand money. This is good. I'm glad. Jot that down. Gormer understands money, and I have like a little card person just mockingly writing it down, and then he disappears. Well, shall we get back on the road then? Barakiel, angry man.
I'm not angry. You're just a disappointment. And then he, flicks the reins and starts walking off.
Speechless.
I think he's warming up to you.
Amazing.
And then he'll follow.
How can you tell?
He's very sunny, like me.
I wait until everyone else is already traveling, and then I follow behind.
All right, and so you're the last person to see Oscar just kind of turn to his shop and gesture widely, and you see him snap his fingers, and the whole thing just kind of collapses in on itself and then reforms into the rucksack, and he'll kind of squat down, put it back over his shoulders, and begin walking along the road, disappearing from view. So you guys are back on the road towards Sunport. At this point, you've traveled about half a day's travel until you met Oscar. And so you're continuing along, and as you go, all of you... first of all, what's the marching order?
I am in the back.
I would say either Baraki at the front. I assume you're probably better at tracking and pathfinding than I am.
Man, no. I mean, maybe. Okay, so I'm not trained in. I have nature, but no survival.
Let's see. I have a +1 wisdom modifier.
I have a +3 wisdom modifier, so we're good there.
You can go.
Pacifica has a +4.
That's true.
Then maybe Pacifica and Gorma up at the front?
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds okay to me.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't think Pacifica, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Pacifica would probably want to be by herself at the head of the...
Yeah, she wouldn't up front even volunteer to be at the front. It would just come out like, well, you're the druid. Maybe you should...
Yeah, I think
That's classist.
Barakiel would go for the rear guard, probably. Just because you know, he's the strongest. He needs to bring up the rear. That's how you do marching order.
Yeah.
So I think Ozzy's like at the back, and then he sees like Barakiel sort of slowing down, and he's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no!" And then he just like passes him, and Barakiel doesn't say anything, and he's just like
Okay. So
behind him.
So Gormer and Pacifica, you can either roll perception individually, or one of you can roll with advantage.
I think we'll take our chances with individually. What do you think?
Yeah.
$16.
13.
All right. As you continue along the road, you don't really notice anything dangerous or out of the ordinary, really. But as you continue along the road, it sort of winds a little bit, but it mostly stays heading directly south. This road goes almost perfectly north-south from Talim to Sunport, and as you go, you notice some farmers off in the fields, and they just seem to be wrapping up their day as you guys travel along. It's reaching probably about 5 or 6. It's getting close to dusk, and yeah, nothing really seems to be out of the ordinary.
So are we like on the out? Any town? Or is this
point? Sorry, I had a thing. At this point, you would not be on the outskirts of any towns. You guys would still be a fair distance from Clement, which is about a third of the way from Hoster down to Sunport, and you've all heard of Clement. It is not a nice place. Clement is a place ruled with an iron fist. Its Baron is known for his capriciousness and just general cruelty.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he is. He is widely known to be an asshole, and it's one of those places where you feel like the guards should intervene and the government should intervene, but they never seem to. And the city prospers regardless because of the crime and corruption that inhabits it. So if you do have to go to Clement, it's best to keep your business there brief and then get out. Baron Jezrim Wayne is not a man to be trifled with. You would all know this simply by reputation. He is infamous in Talim and the surrounding area. So as you guys continue to travel, with your perception check was 16, and what was yours?
13.
13. Yeah, still everything looks okay, and you guys don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. Are there any conversations you wish to have along the ride?
Gormer will just be humming and singing to himself during the longer points of travel.
Okay.
Pacifica keeps talking to her dog.
Okay.
Because he has to walk. He tired boy.
Poor Bjorn. Okay.
And what time of day did you say it was?
At this point, it's probably roughly 6 to 7 p.m. It's
About how many hours of daylight do we have left?
You have roughly an hour and a half.
In which case, I think, when there's like an hour of daylight, like pretty much on the dot, Baraka will look up at the sun and then like whistle so that Gorma can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the front of the party, and then like hold up an arm for a stop.
Gorma, you see Barakiel hold up his arm.
Nope. Wave back.
Pacifica's like, no, we have to stop.
Oh.
And stops her horse.
All right. So you guys stop for the evening. Are you staying like along the road, or are you kind of moving off to the side? On the let's see, you guys be traveling south. So on the eastern side, if you were looking north, it would be the eastern side. You have grasslands and plains, and then on the western side you have thickly wooded forests.
I say we set this tent up in that forest, kind of not too far off the road, but at least hidden enough where somebody passing by wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and utilize At Home in the Wild and find us a secure location.
Okay.
It's my background ability.
Mm-hmm.
It's can find a place to hide, rest, or recuperate when out in the wild. It's secure enough to conceal you from most natural threats.
Okay. All right. So easy enough. You find a place large enough for the tent to be constructed. And we'll say that you guys are able to set up the tent if you wish. It was shown to you for demonstration purposes, but you can actually use it tonight still if you wish.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming we're resting for the night. So while everyone else is setting up, I will take this time to do my short rest to attune to just the ring of spell storing.
Okay.
And then I have to, when I attune to it, I can cast spells into it.
That is correct.
Which means I have to roll on the wild magic table. And I'd like to store 4 magic missiles, which will deplete all my level 1 spells until we do a long rest. And then a level 2 Misty Step.
Okay, say this to me again. The Misty Step.
Misty Step. And 4. I'm sorry, I can't do 4. And it's 5. It's 5.
5 spell slots worth.
Yeah, but it has to be up to level 5 of them. So if I do 3 level 1, I can do a level 2.
Yes.
So I'll do 3 magic missiles and a Misty Step.
Okay. So.
All right.
All right. So roll on the wild magic table.
Oh God. Okay. So here we go. Well, I'm not rolling on the wild magic table yet. I gotta roll the d20s. See if I get it. All right. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
First one is a 2. Then a 3. So that's 2 out of the 4. Then a 4. Oh, this is gonna be bad. All right. We got a natural 20.
Oh, nice.
So that's gonna be wild magic. And the wild magic is going to be a 27.
27. For the next minute, all your spells with a casting time of 1 action have a casting time of 1 bonus action.
Sweet!
So you're just firing these spells into this thing every 6 seconds. Just.
Yep. And that's what I'll spend my time doing, where everyone...
Alright. So you guys do see Ozzy just kind of sitting off by himself, just casting spells into this ring that he purchased. It was empty, by the way.
Perfect. Yeah.
What is everyone else doing?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Barakiel will be probably trying to take Gorma around because Gorma knows the wilds and Barakiel knows military strategy. So Barakiel will be saying we should have a watch here and like reinforce, like put some like spikes in the ground here to stop people charging our position. And
Perhaps we could just light a fire and watch. we're very safe. I grew up in the woods. I'm very confident in the fact that I don't think anything will find us.
I'm sure no natural threat will find us, but the thing we are tracking has not been natural. And I feel it is best to stay protected and vigilant. At least we should arrange a watch for people outside the tent.
Yes, I agree with a watch.
Okay.
I don't think we need spikes or
Right.
any of that. I don't think we have time to build a wall, do we?
Barago looks disappointed and says, "No."
All right. So Pacifica and Stitch, what are you guys doing at this time?
I'm just kind of sitting in front of the tent, sharpening my daggers, make sure they're nice and that blade is nice and honed.
All right.
As they're walking back from their little patrol, he will quietly in Sylvan just ask the trees to watch out for them. Just kind of like softly pat each one that he comes close enough to.
Okay.
Offer a little bit of sunlight from his palm.
All right. So as you guys are walking through the woods, Barrakiel, it's almost imperceptible. Oh. There you are. That's all right. As you're walking through the woods and you hear Gormer kind of just very softly speaking this language, it's a beautiful. It sounds like a mixture of the rustling of leaves and the trickle of water, and you don't understand it, but you still kind of feel yourself attuning to the rhythm of it, and you swear, though it's almost imperceptible, you swear that the boughs of the trees kind of bend a slightly closer to the tent and offer a bit more shelter around it. All right, Pacifica?
So Pacifica actually is like straight up avoiding the tent.
Okay.
She doesn't want to go in it. She
Okay.
doesn't want to nothing. So she's probably just sitting down with Bjorn and has already like looked like she started like laying down and snuggling in with her dog like that with a bedroll instead.
Okay. All right. Who is taking first watch?
Well, Pacific's already outside, right?
That's true.
By the way, since you're already out here, you and Bjorn got first watch.
That's fine.
Are you okay with that? I can take the watch with you if you'd like.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So, Pacifica, I will ask you to make a perception check for yourself and for Bjorn.
Da-da. My mouse is not working because Trilo is on my mouse pad. Trilo, the mean cat. Oh, because Pacifica, she rolled a nat 1, but she gets +6 in
Oh
perception.
God!
Okay.
But her dog. Oh, Bjorn rolled an 18.
Okay. So as you're...
What's that, Lassie?
Starting to like Bjorn. I'm starting to like him.
So as you guys are kind of sitting there and you're just kind of resting against him, you find yourself nodding off ever so slightly until you feel Bjorn underneath you just kind of have this low and just kind of glaring off into the forest, and as you kind of look to where his attention is focused, you see the outline of kind of a bear-sized creature. Doesn't seem to be paying attention to you guys really. It's just kind of stalking the outskirts of the campsite. But then it kind of fades off, and Bjorn settles back down with his head on his paws and offers his side once again to you. Who is taking second watch?
Gorm will take second one.
Okay. Make a perception check, please.
Ooh, that's a natural 19,
Nice.
which puts us at 22.
22. As you're sitting, being fairly attuned to forests and the natural elements, you're sitting there and your eyes are kind of half closed, and you're just kind of extending your senses out, listening and paying attention, when you hear a very slight crack of a branch behind the tent. And you hear what sound like footfalls.
He'll stand up and brush himself off a little bit, and he'll take a little stroll.
Okay.
Just quietly.
Okay.
That's, ooh, boy, not so quietly. Oh, wait, maybe so. He's actually trained in that. So that brings it to a 12 stealth.
12. So, what is your dexterity modifier?
3.
3. Okay. So as you round the corner, you see a humanoid-looking figure with a dagger out, and it looks like they're reaching for the outer wall of the tent, and then they stop and they see you, and they dart away. Do you do anything?
Yeah, we're gonna use hidden step,
Okay.
and I mean it's a very brief invisibility, but we're gonna chase after them very briefly.
Okay.
See if we can get a better look at them.
Okay.
If not, actually catch them.
All right. So you magically turn invisible until the start of your next turn, or until you attack. Okay. So you have about
Yeah, just a
6
brief.
seconds or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this figure is dashing full speed away from you.
I'll try to keep pace.
Okay. You do manage to catch up to this individual right as the invisibility fades from your body.
All right.
It is. You can see them. Wait, do furbolgs have dark vision?
Nope.
Okay. Once you leave the firelight at your full dash, that would take you 80 feet away. It is very dark. You still have a little bit of dim light coming from the campfire.
As soon as he realizes that it's dark, he'll just kind of light up one of the radiant sun bolts in his hand. No, it's not enough to really offer a lot of light,
Right,
but
yeah.
enough to just
enough to make out some features. And this this individual is a male, and it looks to be a half orc, and it is clothed R.I.P. earbud users.
Yeah. It's okay. Now I'm deaf.
Sorry about that. That was my kid.
That's
Sorry.
all good.
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
I'll fix that. Oh my god.
So you see a half-orc male dressed all in black leathers with a hood. The only way you can tell that it's a half-orc is the greenish tint of the skin and two tusks that protrude up from the front of the jaw, the lower jaw, and it still has its dagger out. And as you approach, he kind of wheels around and excuse me, he'll just say, "You're not the one I want," and he'll turn and try to continue running.
We're gonna reach out and see if we can grab him.
All right.
By the wrist.
All right. Make your see, that would be an athletics check against his acrobatics or athletics. Ooh.
It's another natural 19, which puts us at 20.
20? Yeah, he got a 19. Shit. All right. So yeah, you have this individual in your grasp right now. Right now, you're about 80 to 90 feet away from the rest of the party, and he's struggling at this point.
Come back and talk with me, and just kind of slowly start.
When he comes back into range, Bjorn
Coaxing him
probably
back.
starts growling and wakes up again.
Well, before that happens, you... Let's see. Yeah, what's your armor class?
16.
16. Gormer, you feel a sharp pain in your shoulder as you turn to lead this individual back to the campsite. Let's see, you take... 9 points of piercing damage as a crossbow bolt slams into your shoulder. And I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
That would be 15.
15. You do manage to hold on to the orc, the half orc, but you have a crossbow bolt lodged in your shoulder, and it came from further back into the forest.
Where he was heading to?
Yep.
All right.
What are you doing?
He'll just... Oh, well, no, I didn't know it was coming. Could have used a deflect missile. Knowing that there's someone with a crossbow now...
Yep.
He'll kind of begin to radiate a bit of the light.
Okay.
I really just wanted to be peaceful and talk, and we're going to lay into him a little bit.
All right.
Is there, with Bjorn being a dog, could I possibly make a perception check for him?
I will say go ahead and make a perception check for him with disadvantage, because this is pretty far
It would
away.
actually be regular because
okay.
he has the trait keen hearing and smell.
You're correct.
So.
Yeah. So regular roll for Bjorn.
So we're going to use a key point to do a flurry of blows
11.
as well. So we're just going to lay it.
Make your attacks. Bjorn, like, kind of half cocks an ear and kind of, and then just settles back down.
All right. So that is a natural 16, 17, and 18.
Oh yeah, all hit. Roll that damage.
All right. So that is... Oh, wait, not D6s. It's D4s.
Yeah, D4s until level...
Next level.
4. Level 4.
Well, I mean, I will take that. So... it's dexterity now, so that would be 21 points. As we get 2 4s and a 2,
all right.
Plus the very fancy +3 dexterity modifier.
Yeah. All right, so 21 points of damage.
And we're not looking to kill here. He's
Right.
looking to just yeah.
So as Gormer kind of just begins to pummel the sides of this half orc, you do have to let go to make these strikes.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you kind of finish with a knee to the solar plexus, and he's just gonna. And from behind you. Oh no, that won't hit. Another crossbow bolt kind of whizzes by your head.
Okay.
And you hear the half orc shout out, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot! You're gonna hit me, you idiots!"
We're just gonna hoist him up over the shoulder.
Okay.
If I can. If you'd like your friend back, come speak with me. And
Okay.
I'm gonna walk back to the camp.
All right.
So I'm assuming we heard the yelling that
Yes, at this point, you guys have all heard a shout from the forest, and I assume, this all rouses you, or this rouses all of you, and you guys.
I'm asleep.
Okay.
I choose to be asleep.
He'll make sure he's on the other shoulder, the one that hasn't been shot with
Right,
a crossbow bolt.
Yeah, as soon as I hear like raised, I'm like, Barrichello is like straight out of the tent, like wearing his like bedclothes and holding his sword.
Okay.
And he does have 60 feet of dark vision, so can
Okay.
he see anything more? When he
See, with the campfire light and your dark vision, I will say make a perception check with advantage. And we are just about ready to wrap up.
Can I do the same? Because I have
Yes.
night vision. Yeah.
Yes.
So does
good.
Pacifica.
All right. All three. Ozzy is still snoring.
And what type
Yep.
of check? You said a perception
I've
check?
apparently got sleep in my eyes because I get a 9
Oh, with advantage?
with advantage.
Oh. All right.
I
Everybody
got
else?
23.
23.
You
Nice.
said a perception check?
Yep.
Sorry. That's an 11.
Okay. Pacifica, you look out and like scanning the forest really quick, discerning where Gormer's or where the voice was coming from. You can just barely make out the familiar shape of Gormer with something large slung over his shoulder, and he looks
Because
to be
it's
rushing
Gormer.
towards you.
He definitely moves to go meet him because it's.
All right. So, with that, we will go ahead and end tonight's session. When we come back, everyone will roll initiative. We'll just jump right into it.
Yes.
Yeah, jumping right into combat as soon as we get in. Unfortunately, our druid will not be with us, but we'll figure something out, and she may end up being
Bjorn won't be there either.
well, they'll still be there technically.
They'll just be in a bucket.
They'll come down with food poisoning.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We'll put her on
Bjorn
autopilot.
ate some under the table jerky.
Yes.
Oh, he's got food poisoning.
Poor Bjorn had that jerky.
Would
you really
would
want
you be
some, but-
comfortable, Hannah, with like you writing down like a set of specific actions that would stay in Pacifica's character, and we'll just roll with that while you're gone?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, we can talk about it. For now, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. As with the last episode, this one will be available on YouTube. Hopefully tonight. I was actually able to get the last one uploaded a lot faster than I thought I would be able to. Thank you, Internet. And hopefully that'll be the same for tonight. So anybody that didn't get to watch this live, you would be watching it on YouTube anyway, so I don't know why I'm talking to you. If you're watching it live and you know someone who can't watch it live, tell them, hey, go check this out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. All of our Twitter handles are down below me. And yeah, I think that's all we got for tonight. So until next time, everyone, remember to keep it friendly.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you
See
next
you
week.
guys.
Bye.